The only dating advice you will ever need. Have more sex. Hi guys, my name is Alex and I am a sex coach, but today I am going outside my boundaries and I'm talking dating. I'm reacting to a dating video. The only dating advice you will ever need. I'm going to see if this is true, if this is right. If it's going to help you guys out, then I want to help relay that message and explain from a sex coach's perspective why this is great advice or bad advice. This comes from Akana, and yeah, let's jump into it, bros.
A lot of dating advice out there that doesn't make sense to me. Always make sure you're the one to text him less. So if he sends you 2 texts, you send him 1. And if he sends you 1 text, you send him 1-word answers.
Oh God, don't get me started on these crazy dating rules. It's so crazy. It's like, yeah, you can't double text. I mean, I'm sure you guys have all seen these videos from like pickup artists and men's style bloggers. Even they do this kind of stuff where it's like, yeah, you can't double text. You gotta wait a couple days. And then other people are like, no, you gotta text right away, or you gotta just call them. Don't text. And there's so much discrepant information on the internet about dating, and it's crazy. But let's see what she has to say.
He's getting distant. Then you just tell him that he's being clingy and that you need space. You just always have to reverse psychology them.
Reverse psychology, like don't subscribe to me. I don't want more subscribers. I don't want that. I don't want you to come back for my daily uploads that are amazing and awesome, and we get to talk about sex all the time, which is fun. And yeah, don't do that.
Here's a series of books of canned responses for every possible scenario, organized alphabetically by topic of discussion.
Yeah, people do this all the time with sex advice too, where it's like all these formulas and blueprints on how to touch a girl, or how to do this, how to perform oral, how to finger, how to do all this crazy stuff. There's always like this formula where you have to follow these steps, and if you're in this certain scenario, then you have to do this certain thing, and there's no room for nuance because everyone likes this certain physical technique, and it's all physical advice too, which is not helpful to anyone either. And it just clouds your mind, and it makes it worse for you because then everything's a formula, and that's not how life is. People are different, you know? People are different.
There's articles and books and movies and blogs and videos all based purely on the concept that there is a right way to date someone.
Yep, I agree. And you know what? That happens in sex advice too, where there's a right way to do everything. And I would say there is a right way to do sex. It is to communicate and find out what your partner wants and needs and desires, and then do that and be open-minded and focus more on psychological stimulation rather than physical stimulation. And then you're set. And then that applies to everyone because everyone's going to get this unique package based on what they've communicated to you. So that breaks away from any lack of nuance right there, because you're getting individualized programming basically based on what your partner has already said they want. And so I don't know why people don't communicate about sex. I don't know. It's crazy. I guess people are afraid to talk about it because it's like, ooh, it's this taboo subject. I can't talk about that. I just have to guess what my partner likes. And it's a little bit ridiculous because we talk about everything else in our lives, especially if you're dating. And why not talk about sex? I mean, sex is such a fun, cool part of your relationship, and no one's talking about it, okay?
That there is a correct combination of texts and words and behaviors that will make somebody fall in love with you.
The physical advice that people give, it's always like the one oral technique that will guarantee an orgasm. And it's like, no, everyone's body is different. Physical techniques don't apply to everyone equally and the same. And so you can't just do the same thing to everyone. That's why I emphasize communication and working with your partner and focus more on the psychological parts, because if your partner's not aroused, if they're not in the moment, if they're not engaged, if they're not psychologically present, then your sex won't be good no matter what crazy God mode physical technique you do on them.
I think this is bullshit. And I mean, don't get me wrong, okay? I'll admit, I was 15. I would read Cosmopolitan and 17 magazine and follow their advice to a T. I realized that all of this advice is based on the flawed premise that love is a game and people are prizes to be won.
Yeah, and people come from the same angle with sex, especially guys, where it's this conquest to have the most sexual partners they possibly can. And that is not going to lead to good sex ever. I mean, you might have the one occasion where it's really passionate because you both just don't have any shame and you're just free, or you're drunk and not thinking about anything else with the sex. But no matter how many people you bang after you take them home from the bar or wherever you're meeting them, that sex is never going to be as good as it would be if you were in a relationship with someone where you could grow, you could express yourself, you could connect with them. They could do exactly what you want during sex, and you could do exactly what they want. And you would have this emotional resonant connection, and it's just amazing, and it builds up the psychological stimulation so much more than just sleeping around with random people where it's awkward and you're insecure and they might have anxieties and you might have anxieties and you don't know what they want, and so you're just doing this vanilla thing because you don't want to do anything that might offend them or turn them off. And so it just creates this boring experience that, yeah, it might be full of passion for some random chance that could happen, but for the most part it's going to be awkward, and most of the time it's going to be weird and not as good as it could be if you were with someone that you can talk to and communicate and get to know, and they could get to know you, and then you could create the most ideal fantasy sex that you possibly could think of. And you can't do that with a stranger.
And when I would follow these rules and inevitably get to know a person better and become emotionally invested in them, I would realize way too late, wait, we're not actually compatible. And I just felt like there were so many rules you had to follow, and I had so much anxiety about doing the wrong thing or saying the wrong thing.
Yes, this exists to a huge degree in sex too. There is so much information, so much bad information out there that's telling you have to do this, you have to follow these rules, you have to do physical stimulation in the right way every time, this certain way. Otherwise, it's going to be terrible. You're going to get laughed at. It's going to be embarrassing. You'll never have sex again. You might as well just become a celibate or whatever and just a monk and go on your way. But that is not true, and it's not good for anyone, because the more rules and things that you're thinking about in your head, the less likely you're going to be able to just express yourself and be present in the moment. If you're thinking about you have to do these things and it's a formula and you're anxious because I don't want to do the wrong thing and it's all this pressure, how are you going to ever enjoy sex like that? It's not going to be enjoyable at all. It's going to be this anxiety-provoking experience, and you're not going to want to do it. And yeah, so you have to kind of get that stuff out of your head, focus on communicating, connecting with people, and focus on the psychological aspects of sex. Try to help your partner not be insecure and anxious, as well as yourself, and do whatever you need to do to get to that point. Because the best sex is when you're present, you're passionate, you're immersed in the experience, and you're connected to the person you're having sex with.
And she was like, Anna Kay, the only dating advice you will ever need is to just be yourself. Because that way, if somebody falls in love with you, they're falling in love with you and not this idea that you've presented. It's a lot of work to maintain an idea over a long period of time. It's quite easy to keep being yourself.
Yes, that is great advice, and I've said it before. In every scenario of your life, be yourself, because that's all you are. And if you create these false images of yourself, these facades, then people, they don't actually like or dislike you. They like or dislike this facade you're creating. And listen, I know exactly why people do it. For one, people think they have to, because they think that society works in a certain way where you need to behave a certain way and everyone needs to do these certain things. And so you're trying to kind of fit the mold of like what is sexy or what is hot or what is cool. You're trying to fit into that mold, and you might not feel like you fit into it yourself, and so you project this image that fits into these kind of categories that society has deemed attractive. And the other reason people do it is because they don't want someone to dislike them and have to feel that pain of someone disliking them for them, and it's their true self, and someone doesn't like you for you. And that hurts, I know. And it's much better if you can kind of push that away because, oh, well, they just don't like the fake me. So, you know, it's not that bad. It doesn't hurt that bad. It's a self-preservation technique. I know why people do it, and I've done it before too. I mean, all throughout high school and college, I feel like that's all I did was just kind of create this image of myself that wasn't actually me and I wasn't actually myself. And it's hard to be your genuine self because when you receive criticism, it hurts because that is you and they're criticizing you to the core. But on the flip side, when you receive compliments, they are that much better because they like you for you. And also, like she said, if you're dating someone, they are getting to know you. They are falling in love with you for you, and there's no faking. And that's going to set up a better relationship than dating someone that you're basically lying about. That's not you, it's just this image that you've created to fit some societal standards. So be yourself with dating, with sex even. Be yourself all the time.
I think it's much better to just be upfront with who you are and what the other person is signing up for. And if they like it, great. And if they don't, cool. Move on and find somebody else. And when you finally do, they'll like you for you, instead of this carefully curated construct that you've spent so much time building for them.
It is such a good quality to see someone that is truly genuine, that is truly passionate about their interests, and they're not afraid of what society might think of their interests. Those kind of people are magnetic. And if someone doesn't like you for you, then great. You don't have to spend any more time with them than that. And you shouldn't even care what they think. I'm sure you have come across people that you don't like, and you just distance yourself from them. And it doesn't matter. No one cares. Just be yourself, live your own life. You only have one, so do it the best you can. And the best you can is just to be yourself to the fullest degree. And yeah, learn to love yourself for who you are. And don't care about what people say about you. It's so stupid to be concerned with what other people think. I know it's hard to just do that. It's hard for me. It's one of the hardest things in life, I think, is to stop caring about what people think. But if you can learn to do it, then it's amazing. For now, just try to be yourself, be genuine, have integrity, and your dating life and your sex life is going to get so much better. And so, yeah, she is pretty spot on. It is, I would say, probably the only dating advice you'll ever need. The only advice for anything you'll ever need is just be yourself, be genuine, and go out and conquer the world in your own way. And yeah, have fun while you do it, you know? Thank you so much for watching. I highly recommend checking her channel out. She's great, has great editing, and her videos are funny, and she's cool, at least from what I've seen. So definitely subscribe to her. Subscribe to me too, because I'm awesome too. And you don't want to miss out on daily uploads, daily content coming at you daily, I guess. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something. Hope you had fun in the process, and good luck on your dating life and your sex life. And until next time, hope to see you in the next video. Bye, guys.